Joining us now from Capitol Hill, Senator Mike Braun from the great state of Indiana. Senator Braun, it's good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Well, my pleasure.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate will vote on a targeted COVID relief bill sometime this week. Senator, what is in it, and does it have your support?
So the main issue for many of us would be the top line of the bill. And is it going to look at what we did with the CARES Act to see what we might improve upon it, and if there are some funds that we could repurpose. So 7 or 8 of us more conservative senators did get together over the last 2 weeks to weigh in. And I appreciate Leader McConnell listened to us. And I think that's why, the initial HEALS Act was closer to $1 trillion. This is around half of that, and then has a bunch of common sense stuff in it that's aimed at the most important parts that still need help. Also had a piece in there about school choice. I was hoping we'd have healthcare transparency in there as well. That's still the biggest issue out here, is the high cost of healthcare. We'll get back to that, I think, once we get COVID in the rearview mirror. But all in all, no bill's ever going to be perfect to any individual senator. I think this has got a chance of getting maybe 51 votes on our side. I'm very, very cautious about thinking any Democrat might vote for it, though.
Well, along those lines, you've likened the divide over how to respond to the pandemic between congressional Republicans and Democrats as the Hatfields and McCoys. How much bipartisan support can this bill get if there weren't even enough Republicans to bring the HEALS Act to a floor vote?
I think, sadly, that's the nature of where we're at. You look at the platform that they're running on, it's so different from where many of us as Republicans feel you need to be. And generally, any bill of substance or essence, unless you're renaming a post office or doing something that doesn't have much legislative pith to it, we're there. I mean, when you look at major legislation that's crossed the threshold, 18, we passed the Criminal Justice Reform Bill. I asked how long that was stewing. 10 to 12 years. We got Tax Cut and Jobs Act done in December 17 before I got here. That was done through reconciliation. You go back to Obamacare in 2010, along with the tax hike that went along with it, there weren't any Republicans for it. We've got to get beyond that, and I hope that reforming health care is a place where Democrats and Republicans can get together. My transparency bill, 90% of Democrats and Republicans believe in health care transparency. Hoping that that can be something maybe where we can get back together to where we can get more than just one side voting for it,
right,
one side against it.
Well, caught in the middle are millions of unemployed Americans, shuttered businesses, and people who are close to eviction. According to the Indianapolis Star, 313,000 Hoosiers could face eviction when the CDC moratorium ends. Senator, what is being done to solve this impending crush on renters and landlords?
So over the last month, 3 of those 4 weeks, I traveled the state. And Indiana, by the way, has an unemployment rate that is now in the mid-7s. My home county, DuBois County, Jasper, Indiana, is almost crossing into the high 5s. We were at 6.1. So we are a state that has a balanced budget amendment. We're in the black every year, had a rainy day fund. And yes, if there was targeted help, and what you just described would be a place, I think we could handle most of that within our own state capability. Where it gets tricky is so many states have not run their business affairs in that fashion, and that's why you've got the disparate kind of requests of needing $2 to $3 trillion versus what I think, if you hone in on what we actually need, and even in some of the blue states where what we've got in this bill that we're going to vote on would be a benefit. But it still begs the question, should we be doing anything here that bails out bad management, bad behavior that's accumulated over decades, not just with COVID?
All right, Indiana Senator Mike Braun, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for being on Faith Nation today.